Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, people of the internet. Welcome to your daily checkup from the neck up. As always, I am Kyle Evans out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Marcus Heflin, my co host, is not here today. He's doing the family things. He just made a huge move to Connecticut. And so I will be sharing with you this Monday to make sure we get our minds right, man, for whatever we're looking to accomplish this week. It could be still taking it slow for the holidays. It could be getting your ducks in a row. It could be full tilt out there going grinding, capitalizing on the new year, man. Whatever you're into, wherever this day takes you, I trust that you are going to make it as best as possible. Guys, every week we have our foundational principles. Our foundational principle this week is built on one of my new favorite bold laws, and I think it's profound, it's short, and if we really applied it, I think that a lot of us would have very different outcomes in this life. So I'm going to put it up here for you. Life is short, get busy. It's that simple and it's that hard. Life is short, get busy. Guys, one of the things that used to plague me and still does sometimes is this thought, this premise that we always have more time, that there will always be extra time. Human beings spend time like an asset that has an infinite amount of reserves. And that is clearly not the case. In fact, I am certain that everyone out there listening will think back about how quick life has gone, how fast their time has expired to get to here, right? I mean, it feels like just yesterday I was a kid. Just yesterday I was in middle school. Just yesterday I was in high school. Just yesterday I was in college. Just yesterday I was becoming a new dad. I truly think that whenever you have kids, life seems to go even faster. And one of the reasons I think that is because you have like a measuring stick, right? That you're watching quickly change, quickly grow. You're watching time proceed faster than ever with those little tiny humans. Nonetheless, though, it brings us to the point that life is short. It is the quickest thing ever, right? It's the longest thing ever, and it's also the quickest thing ever. And there are so many different ideas around this. One of the ones that we talk about in the maps world or have talked about is the book by Bronnie Ware, The Five Regrets of the Dying, right? Bronnie Ware was a palliative care nurse, and I'm sure some of you have heard this before. She helped people at the end of their lives, right? She was a hospice nurse, and she would interview them and spend time with them and wrote a book called The Five Regrets of the Dying. And essentially, it's their last thoughts, their biggest regrets. And she found a pattern and she ended up writing a book on it. I trust that you'll go out and read that book at one point because it is pretty life changing. There's so many different things out there. One of the things I want you guys to understand is if you ever think that you have more time, that you have too much time, that you have all the time in the world, go talk to somebody who doesn't. Go talk to somebody who doesn't have a ton of time left, who has an expiration date that they can see that they've been told. It'll drastically change your perception of this thing in life. Man, so Kyle, why are you taking us this deep on a Monday, right? I want you guys to really wrap your heads around this new year that is coming up. It is time to get busy. It is time to do all the things that we're putting off. One of my favorite little short sayings is one day or day one. Guys, what is it that you are putting off? What is it that you are shrouding in limiting beliefs? What is it that you are telling yourself that you cannot do, or you can do later, or you can do next year, or 5 years, or 10 years, and someday we'll get around to it? What if someday never comes? What if? What will you do then? Let's start to operate like tomorrow, today is our last day. What would you do? How would you spend your time? A better question, one that I love to focus on, how would your attitude be if today was your last day? How would your attitude be? Would you be held down by random things that are happening, by minor inconveniences that we let suck the time out of our life, that we spend too much time frustrated with, annoyed with, bothered by? Or would you just let them go? You would probably say something like, "Hey, this is my last day. I don't have time to worry about that." This is the kind of mindset, this is the kind of attitude we should be stepping into 2025 with. We don't know how much time we have. So why don't we use every second, every minute, every moment like the gift that it is? Like the power that we have. Guys, we're all writing this story. We all have a blank canvas. What are we going to paint today, tomorrow, this week? 2025 is full of endless possibilities. It really is. Gary Keller often talks about this. He says, you overestimate what you can do in 1 year and you drastically underestimate what you can do in 5. Guys, the journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step. What step are we going to take today? How are we going to change our attitude? How are we going to change our perception? How are we going to get busy? People often ask, how do you do all this stuff? Or look at all the things you've accomplished. And I haven't even accomplished that much. And I tell them that my life truly changed whenever I realized that every day was a choice. Every day. The things that you choose to do that day. It's that simple, guys. It's that small. I've been flooded with text messages, with emails, with different things from people that I've coached in the past, people that I've been in their world with, and things they've accomplished this year, or life changes that they've made, or how they've been different. And every time I am reminded that the success comes from simple choices every day. We think that just life needs these overarching grand themes, these huge moments to drastically change our trajectory. And it's simply not the case. Does that happen sometimes? Sure. But for 99% of us, the change that we seek is often in something so small and so consistent. Guys, life is short. It's time to get busy. See, one of the things I love about this bold law is it's not just life is short. If you just put a period there, that would be enough. Life is short. That's a powerful statement in itself. It helps us change our mindsets around the time that we're given. Yet one of the things I love about it is it doesn't stop there. It says get busy. The magic that we are all seeking, the magic that we are looking for is usually in the work that we're avoiding. We've got to get busy. Time and time again, I am so honest with you guys, and I tell myself often, right? Like, oh man, gotta accomplish this, gotta accomplish that. When will I get to it? How can I do it? And I'm so reminded every time that I start to get into that thought process of overwhelm or how do I eat the elephant, that it truly just starts with one bite at a time. It just starts with getting busy. It starts with day one, not one day. It starts with taking the action. And the action is uncomfortable. And the action is work. There's another saying that opportunity is often missed because it's usually costumed as overalls and work boots. Guys, what magic are we missing because we're not getting busy? Life is short, so get busy. This is Monday. Now, whether you are still using this as recharge or you're using this to get stuff done, I have a full day full of end of the year wrap ups. I'm going to get busy because I'm setting a foundation for 2025 to be an incredible year for myself. And I don't say that braggadociously. I say that very tactfully, very tactically, is because I'm going to just start lining up my dominoes and knocking them down one by one. And I know that no one is coming to save me. I know that this life is my own and I get to choose each and every day the consistent habits that will serve me or not serve me. Which ones are you choosing? There's a quick story I'll read to you, and it goes like this. There was a man named Victor who always dreamed of writing a book. He had stories in his heart and ideas in his mind, but never seemed to start. When things settle down, he'd tell himself, there's plenty of time. When things settle down. Years passed and Victor's life grew busier. One day he met an old friend, Emma, who had just published her third book. How do you find the time? Victor asked, feeling a pang of envy. Emma smiled and replied, I don't find the time, Victor. I make the time. Life is short and every day is a blank page waiting to be filled. If you wait too long, your book may never be written. That night, Victor sat at his desk staring at an empty notebook. For the first time, he picked up his pen and began to write. Not perfectly, but passionately. Page after page, he poured his heart into the story he had long ignored. Years later, Victor held his published book in his hands. On the dedication page, he wrote, to those waiting for the perfect moment, it's already here. Guys, life is short. We've got to get busy. If you are waiting for the perfect moment, it will never come. It's here. It's now. One of my favorite authors, Ryan Holiday, he writes a lot of Stoic books. And I just saw an article that I read on an interview of him. And in it, the interviewer was asking him, hey, you've accomplished so much in a short amount of time, so many great books in a few years. How do you do it? And he said, every day I write some awful pages. I consistently write some awful pages every single day. And if I do that long enough, I'll have an editable manuscript. And with that, we'll publish something. Guys, we've got to start. And it may not be your best work, but you got to start and we got to be consistent because we don't know how much time we have left on the clock. It is time to get busy. It is time to stop making excuses because I know each and every one of you, if you're anything like me, if you make excuses long enough, you look back with regret. And my God, does regret suck. I am in the best shape of my life, and I'm 36 years old, about to be 37. And here's why I say that. Because it took me years and years and years to finally start making the right choices with the right mindset. I had people recently being like, man, you must have always been in shape. And I'm like, no, buddy, daddy was a husky one, thick like cold peanut butter, fluffy. It took me years to understand how just simple life choices consistently over time, showing up and doing the things even when I don't feel like it, give me the results I always desired. I bring that message to you. What are we putting off? What stories are we telling ourselves? What things could we be accomplishing if we just made the consistent, simple choices to begin and to keep going? Everything can be different. Your story can be different. Your results can be different, but we've got to start and we've got to keep going. I am so proud of so many people that I've gotten to speak with and coach and mentor and be in their world this year and previous years. Man, watching the results you guys have been sharing with me has been profound and incredible. Some of you have even talked to this morning. I love it. And it all comes back down to choosing to take the lead, to choosing to start, to choosing to get into action. And then the often missed one is choosing consistency. And then also choosing consistency over time. Because a lot of times, guys, we set short time horizons, too short, and we don't get the results we desire in a short amount of time. And so we give up and we stop. We have to understand that it's time on task over time. And if we know that it's time on task over time and we know that life is short, then we got to get started right now. We got to get busy today. We got to get busy this week. Man, we are literally 30, 60 days into 2025 if we're looking at a real estate calendar. If you haven't started yet, and if you haven't done the things that you desire to do and have the change that you desire, today's the day. Stop living in regret. Stop sitting there feeling sorry for yourself. Stop punting the football down further. Hey, you know what? That's a next year problem. That's a future Kyle problem. I'll get started on that later. But two, it's time to start today. It's time to start acting like the person you desire to be. It's time to start embodying the habits, the mindset, the actions of the person that you desire to be. Because life is short and it's time to get busy. Guys, make this week incredible. If you're looking for big change in 2025, like Gary says, man, to go big, we got to start small. What is one thing that you can start doing today? What is two things you can start doing today? How can we start preparing that mindset? How can we start taking small actions? How can we start building consistency? Because I know for 99.9% of successful people out there, it is consistency. Let's get it, guys. I am in your corner. I believe in you. If you need me, call me. I will see you out there on the field. Man, let's go get some today, this week, and all of 2025. I will see you guys tomorrow.